So as we talk about these different bridges that help you go from low motivation to action, we're also going to be talking about your nervous system. Several of these bridges also include noticing and recognizing your nervous system state. And a really brief overview of what we're talking about here when we talk about nervous system state is that with ADHD, a lot of times our nervous system state is in big flux, right? We might be really high, elevated, anxious, high energy. We might be really low, sluggish, kind of having a hard time focusing. And we might find ourselves bouncing back and forth. The reality is, for most of us, that this middle zone is where we need to be to get most of life done, to take most of our actions. This is the place where it's easier for us to listen, learn, pay attention, communicate, get life done, is in this middle zone, because we're alert enough to pay attention and be exchanging with people, but we're not so calm that we're like zoned out, fogged out, and not really fully there. So a little pop quiz here. Got this little guy couching out. Do you think that his nervous system level is running really high or running really low? Do you think that he is disengaged, kind of fogged out, or super anxious and super elevated when you look at him? And this is a trick question, right? Because the answer here is who knows? Like, he could be either one. And that's something to remember when you look at low motivation, that somebody could look like they are chilling out, scrolling their phone, shut down, relaxing, and you think, well, this person's not motivated, they don't care to get going. This person might very much care to get going, but they're so elevated, their nervous system's so elevated that they're shutting down to protect themselves. They don't know how to move forward. And so the first bridge that we're going to be talking about today deals exactly with this, deals with a self-coaching resource that you can walk through if you're in this state, if you are totally shut down, totally overwhelmed, and you're stuck, you can't get going. All right, so this coaching overwhelm sheet is a resource in this course. It is a fillable PDF for you, so you can repeat this again and again and coach yourself through this shut down, low motivation, couched out paralysis that we all understand, we've all experienced. And this sheet will walk you through lots of overwhelm questions, things that I would do as a coach to ask you what's going on, so we can get to the bottom of like what is actually shutting you down. I'm going to give you a situation that one of my clients was dealing with this week that she found extremely overwhelming, and we're going to talk through this coaching overwhelm sheet and show you how she did it, how she could do it for herself. This week she had me to do it with her, but the goal is that you can do this for yourself. This client is remodeling her kitchen. And if you feel some anxiety just hearing that, I did too, because that is one of those many, many steps. Who knows, immediate overwhelm for all brain types, because there's so much to this. And so let's go through this sheet like we did with my client and figure out, okay, where do we peel back? How do we peel back to help us take action and move forward? So the first question was, okay, steps that she has to take. Does she know what they are? Did she know like who she had to call? Did she know what measurements she had to take? Did she know all the steps involved? And if not, how could she find these out? Is there an end project? Is there a knowledgeable person? Is there some way she could discover the steps? Does she know one step, right? And so the steps, the amount of steps, the steps she had to take is one part of this, right? But then there's another part that's really important with executive functioning skills is, does the order of the steps matter? Like if she said, hey, one of the steps is ordering a new refrigerator, and she ordered the fridge, but she hadn't taken her measurements about what would fit, that's going to create a ton more work, waste money. And so part of this is like, okay, what are the steps? Do I know the order? Does the order matter? The order might not matter at all. In a different project, she might not have to go in order. And this one, the order it matters quite a bit, so the order, does this matter? If so, can I figure out the order? Other thing that she had no idea about, and honestly, I didn't either, was time. How much time will each of these steps take? And if we don't know, can we guess or estimate or find out? So we have a little sense of which each thing is going to take us in a sense of the whole project and how much time. How much time is it going to take them to get the refrigerator in? How much time is it going to take for contractors to complete this whole job? How much time is it going to take for the measurements and for her to pick out different materials, all the different pieces of this kitchen project? How much time are we talking about? Another question that is really, really relevant is, am I seeing too much? And the question for her was, yeah, she was seeing too much because there's so many steps all at once. So after you identify the steps and the sequence and the time, you might need to take a step back and say, okay, am I seeing this all at once? Because that's really overwhelming. If so, how can I shrink my vision? How can I see just one thing at a time, one step at a time? How can I shrink the time I'm expecting to take? Can I work on this for 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Can I shrink it down in that way and make it more manageable? Even your physical environment is something that you, if you're feeling shut down, want to assess and say, am I seeing too much in my physical environment? I've worked with people who were so overwhelmed with an area they were decluttering that we needed to cover up sections of that room with blankets so they visually weren't going there and getting distracted. So understand that if you're dealing with overwhelm, extra visual information can also really shut you down and make it hard to take action. So doing what you can to shrink down and see less in a physical way and a conceptual way. Do I have another need? With ADHD, sometimes we get disconnected from our bodies and we lose track if we have a body need, right? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? Have I slept? Have I gone to the bathroom? Like checking and seeing, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. It's hard for me to get going. Let me do a real quick inventory and see if there's some big need that I have that needs to be met first because I haven't noticed it or I haven't paused for it, right? This is a big part of this overwhelm is like, do I have a body need? What about your environment? That's another need that we might want to look at. I'm trying to get action and take action in this space. Is the lighting okay? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet for me to focus and get going? Do I need some extra smell that smells good? Am I overwhelmed by the scents in this room? All of the sensory piece that we may not think matters ends up contributing to low motivation. If we're shutting down, it's hard to get going. We want to decrease any friction in our environment that we can, right? We want to help our bodies be their best, their strongest, hydrated, fed, rested, but we also want to look at the environment we're working in and see, okay, can I change something here to make it easier for me to take action? So these are the broad strokes of this overwhelm sheet. If you go through this yourself, we go a little bit more detailed as we step through it. And we're going to actually do this in one of our coaching calls too, have some volunteers and go through this coaching sheet together. But this is a tool and a resource for you to bridge low motivation and taking action, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed.